Hi, and welcome to Coach Me If You Can. I'm today's host, Rylee Coteus, one of NSSEO's district coaches, and I am joined by my colleague.
Hi, guys. I'm Nicole Burke, and I'm also a district coach for NSSEO.
Today, we're going to be talking about some of the really exciting professional learning opportunities that we are holding over the summer. Some of the things that we're doing, us as NSSEO coaches are teaching, and we also have some really cool and exciting offerings that other organizations are coming in.
Yeah, so we have a pretty packed summer of offerings. And so we're just going to go through them. And we're going to start with the ones that we are offering through NSSEO as coaches and staff. So let's start right with it, Rylee. NVCI.
Oh, my
What
favorite.
does that stand for?
This is our crisis management system that we use in the NSSEO program, schools, Kirk Minor and Timber Ridge, and then also in our DHH programs. And we train it to our member districts as well. So NVCI is Nonviolent Crisis Intervention. That is the actual program. Crisis Prevention Institute, or CPI, is the company that has NVCI. We all know acronyms, companies, all of that stuff gets very confusing, but NVCI is the actual certification. So you are NVCI certified, which means that you can implement safety interventions, verbal de-escalations, all of those kinds of things that really help us to work effectively with our students. In some situations, be able to decrease those problem behaviors or at least keep crisis behaviors from happening. So I'm an NVCI trainer. Nicole is going to be getting her training very soon. And so you will catch her and I and some of our amazing NVCI trainers this summer doing both initial trainings and refresher trainings for all of our staff.
Like Rylee said, I'm going to be officially trained through NVCI, but I have been trained by other trainers and have practiced this model the last 10 years. It's a really great program to help staff in supporting students before they reach that crisis stage, or for how to handle when there's some physical aggression. If you're working with students that need those therapeutic techniques and responses, this is a great program for you.
And if you didn't already want to take it, I hope that description just really solidified it for you. I hope you really sold it. So
That's right.
One thing that has come out of the past year or two is ISB, the Illinois State Board of Education, has updated some of their restraint and timeout policies. Whereas before, you would just go through your NVCI training and you'd be good to go. Now, with all of the updated policies for restraint and timeout, you have to, if you're going hands-on and using some of those physical interventions with students, you have to go through 8 hours of training every year, so annually. That can be done through an initial NVCI training, and we have some of our districts that choose to put their staff through an initial NVCI training every year. Some of our member districts do a half day, so 4 hours of NVCI, and then 4 hours of another class that we are providing. And ISB has outlined all of these different things that we have to cover. So risks of restraint, trauma-informed teaching, restorative justice, a bunch of different things to pair with our NVCI and give you your other 4 hours for your restraint timeout or RTO requirements. We also are teaching creating trauma-informed classrooms. My amazing professional learning coordinator, Stacy Colgan, and I, we gave quite a few of these this school year, and they have been really well received. Mm-hmm. And it's really about how do we take the knowledge that a lot of our students are coming in with trauma histories and then engage in really positive relationship building activities, or I can't think of another word for activities.
Well,
strategies. Thank you. There's Stacy Colgan with the assist.
There she is.
So those relationship building strategies in order to reverse some of the effects of trauma in our students. And so we go over the adverse childhood effects, the ACEs study. We talk about our girl crush, Nadine Burke Harris, and the deepest well. We do a lot of deep diving into that during the other 4 hours. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's been really well received. And to switch things up for next year, we're going to take it in a slightly different direction and bring some different strategies in and really switch it up a little bit, but I'm excited to see where that takes us. That is called creating trauma-informed classrooms. So that one pairs up with NVCI really nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think to add to the trauma-informed classrooms, you're going to hopefully learn some new strategies or some ideas to help not only that individual, but classroom-wide communities of students that struggle with emotional regulation due to some of their trauma. Yeah, so those two pair real nicely.
Like wine and cheese.
So we'd love to see you at both. That's our number 2 training through NSSEO. One of our next trainings that we're offering through NSSEO, through coaches and staff, is going to be for our ESPs on de-escalation.
We titled this as ESP, Educational Support Personnel or Person, but really this could also be your instructional assistants, your paraprofessionals, your teaching aides, your teaching assistants. Every single district or classroom has a different way of titling this. So really it is for support staff. And I started as a paraprofessional. It was called a teacher's aide. So that is what I like to call them.
Yeah, they don't call them that anymore.
I think that's out of vogue. If that shows how long ago it was that I was a paraprofessional, there you go. We are going to be taking this mindset of be a Mr. Jensen. And if you've never seen the YouTube video about being a Mr. Jensen, don't watch it yet because it's going to be in the training.
Do it.
So we're going to go through that lens of how can we be an inspiration and a support to our students and have some mindset shifts about that. And then it's going to be that de-escalation strategies because we know that our paraprofessionals and our support staff are the ones that are working most often one-to-one or in small groups with our students. And so giving you all the tools to effectively de-escalate problem behaviors is really, really important. And so we're going to be talking about examples of problem behavior, learning the steps to prevent power struggles, and really just build those student relationships.
Yeah, and that's so important. We know that this year has been a really hard year in finding enough staff. And so we really value our teaching assistants and supports. We hope that we can get a good turnout for this training so we can better prepare for next school year.
And it's only a 2-hour training. So it'll be quick, fast, fun, get some CEUs. All right. So next up on the lineup is Key2Ed does a facilitated IEP training, which is amazing. I can say that truly, truly. We actually had 2 of their trainers, Robin and Cassie, on the show before talking about facilitated IEP. So if you are super interested, they do a much better job about explaining what amazing work that they do. The facilitated IEP is, are you sensing a theme here about building relationships?
So important.
It's important. So building relationships between school teams and other members of the IEP team. So parents, students, everybody, and really navigating those different conversations that you have in an IEP and really teaching school staff how to be effective listeners, effective communicators, and problem solvers. Facilitated IEP training is 5 days, and there's some work that is on your own or asynchronous, and then some work that is synchronous. So in addition to that 5-day, we also have a 2.5-day in August. So there will be multiple opportunities for you to get your facilitated IEP on.
Awesome. And question, who might sign up for this?
Anyone that's a part of your IEP team. So you've got your LEAs, your assistant principals, your psychs, social workers, teachers. We all as coaches went through it because we are in IEP meetings all of the time. And so really all staff that are involved in IEP meetings, because one thing that they really talk about is how everybody in the IEP meeting has a different purpose, and you're going to share that purpose with the whole team. Maybe during a specific meeting, the psych is the note taker, and there are ways that you can do that through a facilitated IEP lens that are really helpful. The answer is everybody that wants to be better at IEPs.
Yeah, so get your team and sign up together. That might be a great one.
I'm going to ask you about some now.
All right.
We have a few offerings through Thinking Collaborative, and I have been through, and the rest of the coaches have been through cognitive coaching. And Thinking Collaborative has some other trainings that are super amazing. Nicole, the first is adaptive schools, and you've been through it.
True.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
What cognitive coaching and adaptive schools kind of overlap. I highly recommend cognitive coaching if you're a coach out there. Adaptive schools is really a cool way to think about how we can continue to improve as things adapt and advance in our world. How can we make sure that we're doing that in our schools to be the most supportive for our students? And so it really helps build the capacity for school improvement. And I think, that one of the biggest tools that I took away from that was developing collaborative groups. So you'll learn how to, in any meeting, be a part of that meeting. So whether you're a facilitator, whether you're a group member, how can we have more meaningful meetings? And how can we all come together for goal clarification, problem solving, decision making? And how do we differentiate between, is this a discussion or do we need to actually come to a solution at the end of this meeting? So it's really for any teams. They gear this training towards schools, but I could see it working in a lot of different companies. Any company that really has a team that meets. There's a lot of really great strategies and skills that you'll learn from this workshop.
I haven't been through adaptive schools yet. I hope to take it this summer. So see y'all there. Added bonus, the agendas that come out of this, real beautiful. There's drawings.
Excellent.
There's colors. We love a pretty agenda.
Oh, yeah. There is, yes. And there is a method to the madness. So you'll find all of that out through the training.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. So if you take adaptive schools with us, or if you've taken it this year and want to take it over the summer, there is also advanced adaptive schools, which
absolutely
Nicole and I will be going to this summer.
Correct. I'm going. Yeah. And I'm really excited to take this advanced version because I feel like the original version, I learned a lot of really great skills. I have a lot of strategies and a lot of things I can use during meetings and things that I can keep in mind while working with teams, many different teams. I think the advanced adaptive schools, I'm most excited to extend those capabilities and skills as a group member and facilitator. We'll also talk about expanding possibilities and applications for our identities. So are we meeting to actually come together and collaborate? Are we inquiring something? What kind of energy is in the group? And how can we embrace conflict? Because that happens no matter what team you're on.
If I'm in a group, the energy is always too much.
Way too much.
That's
and
the
so
answer.
How do we calm a Rylee and still get through and work through our agenda? That's important. Super excited for that one.
So then to keep on the Thinking Collaborative train, we've got data-driven dialogue. And so this is basically, how do we use our favorite thing in the world, data? How do you use that data to focus a group's attention and energy? They have something called a collaborative learning cycle. So it's a 3-phase model that you'll learn all about. And that's how do you collaborate together to reach an end goal or to reach a consensus about something. And then it's really about extending your repertoire of facilitative tools. So it's kind of an extension of the extension of adaptive schools.
True.
But centered around data.
Correct. And, I've facilitated a couple data-driven dialogue conversations. And what's really nice is it kind of gives you a template to go off of in how you can really dig into the data and think about it in different ways. And as a facilitator of the data, everyone, again, it's how you interpret it. So we could all be looking at the same numbers, but how are we interpreting it and how do we have a meaningful conversation about it? So highly recommend that one as well.
So moving away from Thinking Collaborative, we have an amazing local organization called Have Dreams. Have Dreams is an organization that works with individuals with autism spectrum disorder, as well as their families, or autistic individuals and their families. And it's really a partnership between autistic individuals, and they have job programs. So Have Dreams is an organization that's going to come in and do a training all about autism spectrum disorder. So an overview, some principles of structured teaching, which is what we do a ton of coaching around in our districts, some best practice applications and interventions for the autistic community, and video instruction and demonstration. And then the cool thing is that it's a make and take. They are going to be providing materials that you can make yourself to take back to your classrooms to use the very next day.
If you're interested in learning more, they have a really awesome website called havedreams.org. And, they talk through their services and their counseling and their trainings, but it's a really great organization. So we're excited to have them this summer.
So we have Wilson Reading Systems. So that is the program within Wilson Language Training, and it's the foundation of all of these Wilson programs.
It's an intensive Tier 3 program for students in grades 2 through 12 and adults with word level deficits, teaching all of the important skills that we need to learn in order to read.
And this is also for our students who might just need some more intensive structured literacy instruction. And this could be due to a language-based learning disability like dyslexia, some of those other things that they might qualify for an IEP for and need that intensive reading instruction. So Wilson is going to come in and do a training for us, and we will all learn how best to teach our kiddos how to read. So that is a wrap for right now.
It's a lot. It's really a lot.
But unless we cook something else up, and we cannot wait to teach you all about it.
We are excited.
That is the wrap for our summer training schedule. All of this information can be found at nsseo.org. If you click on the top tab that says professional learning, click it again, professional learning. Then in the middle, you'll see the professional learning calendar. It is all on there on our platform called Learning Stream. You can sign up, get all registered. Our fabulous admin assistant, Maddie, will send you some emails if she needs to follow up with you and get some CEUs and really have a fun time this summer learning and hanging out with us.
Yeah, we're excited to see you. So please sign up.
And all of this information will be in the show notes. We will have our links there and then our quick descriptions about some of our trainings.
Summer 2022.
Thank you so much. And we'll catch you next time on Coach Me If You Can.
See ya.